Hello. All right. So this month we're going to do something I think I've done a couple of times before, but it's been a while. So I thought this would be a great time to do it. We're going to go behind the scenes. A lot of people on here have known me for years as, Professor Almy. So, and they're interested. I've had, based on the views that we get on different things when I post and when we share things, people like seeing behind the scenes. They like seeing like, how does it actually work, building a business? And especially if you've been in academia, you might wonder what that, what it's like, I can speak, to move from the classroom to building a business, which is super, super difficult. Do not be ever thinking it's anything but it's rewarding. I will say that, but it's very, very challenging to say the least, but it's a good challenge. So in this video, what we're going to do is go behind the scenes. This is part one, where I talk to you about some of the things that we're doing and have realized that have to do with one aspect of the business, and that is the structural redesigns that we help schools do. And, I'm going to give you a glimpse into some of the things that we've changed and why and like what's going on. And then in the next video, we're going to talk about the things that we're doing different and why with classroom redesigns. So just me saying that to you has been a huge revelation. It's like, okay, I help people with redesign. I've done redesign for 15 years. I know how to do this. I've done it for a very long time with many, many, many colleges and universities. But articulating it and being able to clearly describe your approach, how you do things, lay it out, all of that, that's a whole other ball of wax. The idea that I can get people in a room and I can get them moving and get a redesign that works for people that I can get on board with. I know how to do all that, but operationalizing it as a business, that's a different story. So that's what we've been really working on probably since the business started, but we've really been heavily focused on it this year and late last year. And, really, we feel like we keep zooming in on what is our real purpose as a business? What can we really offer? What can we do well? What is not our strength? And let's stay in our strengths and let somebody else deal with the things that are not necessarily our core assets. Okay. One of the things is when you're trying to build a business, the issue is your offers. What are you going to offer people? And I'm really big on this. I know a lot of you, if you've seen anything I've said before, you've noticed I mentioned something called win-win. That wasn't just an idea. That is my whole philosophy to everything I do with the business, how I run it inside and out, and the type of work we do with schools. I want win-win solutions. I don't want anybody to ever walk away from the changes that we're working on and think, well, they won and we lost. And I know personally firsthand what it feels like to be in those boots and to feel that you just have resentment that just goes on and on for years. That's not a good thing. I want people to leave feeling like everybody won a little something, everybody gave a little something, and everybody won a little something. Well, I don't mean that just with my clients. Whatever we're doing, when we're in terms of, I don't mean that just in terms of the client, what the result, in terms of the redesign. And we want the students to win and the faculty to win and the staff and the administration. We want, that's one type of win-win. The other type of win-win is the one that we have as a business. So it's really important to me that my team feels valued, that they feel like they make a good living at what they do, that schools feel like they're getting a good value and they don't feel like they're being, raked over the coals. Finding those magic price points where everybody feels good and you can pay all your bills and you can have a small profit is a challenge. And that is one of the biggest challenges. And I have some friends who have left academia and have gone into business, and they would all echo that, figuring out how to package what you sell in a way that serves you and the business so that you can have a business and serves your customer. Because that's really important to me. I want our customers to feel like, wow, look at all we got. I want them to feel like what an amazing value that was. And from what I hear, that's what they seem to feel like because they keep coming back to us over and over again. And that's the goal, not for making more money, but to make them happy and to make them get the results that they want. However, it is not our goal to be on payroll. So if I have someone that comes back to me for every year that I am in business forever and ever, that's not a good thing. Much as I like them, I want them shooting me emails telling me how great things are going. I'm not looking to be on someone's payroll. We're successful if we get to them to the point where they feel like they can do this without us. that is a goal of ours. So, and I want to say that. And for all faculty who are wondering, oh, I bet it's really awesome being a consultant. You make all your own hours and you know, make bank and all that. That may be true for some people. That is not true for me. So I want you to know that I don't even make as much as I did as a faculty member. And I'm not saying that as like, woe is me. I'm saying that that's an actual, that was a choice. If I had stayed a one-woman show, I would be, without question, I'd be making way more as I did as a faculty member, but I'm not. I wanted to have a greater impact. I wanted to be able to work with more schools. Well, I can't do that as one person. So I brought on contractors. I created a team. I contract other faculty, administrators from all over the country. All of that costs money. So, but to me, it's like, it's worth it. We are working with so many schools, and I just think about how many thousands of students, the work we can do, how many it can impact. And it's like, that's great. You know, someday my goal is like, that's actually one of my fiscal goals, is to get back to the point where what I made when I taught in the classroom, but that's not the biggest goal right now. So it's what we're working towards. It's going to take time to get there. Okay. That's really behind the scenes, in case anybody was really wondering. Because it's funny, over the years, I've had people actually come up to me and say, hey, how much do you make as an author? And I think what people need to realize is all these things on the side are not always nearly as lucrative as they may appear. I do a lot of these because of passion and because I really care. If I wanted to have steady income and have more income than I do right now, stay in the classroom. So I'll just say that. So in this part, let's go behind the scenes with one of the changes that we've made. I mean, I've given you a little bit of insight, and probably more than I imagined when I wrote my notes, but you know, that's Kathy. I am an open book, and I always have been. That's how I work with schools. So one of the things I figured out is we have an analogy of how we work with schools. And it's funny because those of you that I'm working with know that I do this on meetings all the time. I'll be like, we're building the house, then we're going to put stuff in it. I'm always talking about this house that we're going to build. And that's really the analogy of what I have figured out. I mean, honestly, just figuring that out, I'm like, I'm so excited, because then I can actually articulate it to our designer, and we can have graphics and we can do all kinds of cool stuff and better convey what it is we do. But what I've realized is our intensive, that is kicking off the process of building the house, getting everybody working on the same plans, getting the same blueprint, and then everybody going to work in the same way so that we're going to build this house that really works. So the home, when it's finished, is the full comprehensive redesign. The outside are the structures. That's your policies and how everything works at the college level. The inside, to me, is the classroom. And what I've realized is we have two levels of redesign that we help people with. We do structural, which is the part that I do a lot with schools, and that's the big, like the political side of it, getting everybody on the same page, dealing with legislation, you know, getting everybody to like talk to each other in a room and not, you know, just scowl and hate each other, all that stuff, which, by the way, we do make progress on that with every single school. Some take longer than others, but it's totally possible, in case you're curious. It is. That's one piece. But once we get the structures built, because I always say that once we get the house built, then we're going to go inside. And that's what I'm going to talk about in the next video, which is the classroom experience and what we do on that, because we absolutely help schools redesign their classroom experience. So it's, you know, the outside is, you know, like what the students walk into when they see this house and they walk into it. When they actually go into a room, that's a classroom. That's where I'm thinking in my analogy. And we want that to be as beautiful and positive experience as what they see from the outside as well. So one, I realized, because I've done the intensive process where, and if you're wondering what intensive is, it's that in a very short period of time, we do a great deal of work to really build momentum and to get schools all on the same page with their redesign. And schools are like, they're kind of blown away. Like, I can't believe how much we do. If you have someone who knows what they're doing, like how to get started, which I do, and knows how to keep it going, and you know, we can get all the people in the room and we can make it happen, even if it's a virtual room, you'd be surprised how fast you can do things. Even in academia, even in higher ed, it is absolutely possible to make significant progress. But that's not enough. And, you know, first we started with, oh yeah, we do that. But then I realized that's never what we do with our clients. We start there with something intense, get them going, get them excited, build momentum, get them a win. I talked about that in a recent video, so they have momentum. But then we want them to keep it. And the way you keep it is you have to have the tools, you have to have support, and you have to have accountability. So you have to have people that are there and available to you that can help you, because once you start to do any kind of redesign, figuring out what you're going to do is, yes, that is hard. Making it happen, whole other thing. Okay. So all you're going to deal with is, once you start actually like creating co-recs, is one challenge after another. And the reason that schools get slowed down and they don't get their pilots out the way they want, they don't get things to happen the way they want, is because every time they turn around, there's a challenge and they don't have someone that can just say, okay, what do I do? What do I do next? And so that's what we've learned to do, is provide like that instantaneous or very, very quick turnaround information to our clients in ways that we can do that serve them and serve us, because we have to be really super mindful. We're working with colleges and universities and their timelines and their calendar and their flow and how they work, which thankfully, because I've been in 25 years, I know how it works. But we have to be really mindful of that, because there's definitely ebbs and flows in terms of when people are doing their work, when they're not, when they're on breaks, how all of that works, all of it. You have to be aware of all those kinds of things. But what we realized is because it's bad, had to because we want them to be successful. We have to give them follow-up to the intensive. So that's why we now provide 6 months of coaching. Like, you can email us and say, hey, here's a question I have, or you can say, hey, Kathy, can we just get on Zoom and talk through something because I need help with something, or can you get on Zoom with us and our advisors, we're trying to figure something out, or whatever. That kind of thing we do. Plus, now we've added a meeting at the end of the 6 months, because we want people to feel accountability and that they are actually like, it's not just now go on your way. It's like, no, the idea is we're going to round out this 6 months and we're going to really have accomplished something. We're going to have got a big start on what we're trying to do. We know what we're doing and we've made a start at it. And that's what we're working towards. That, there's more work to come. And we have things to help schools as they get going in an affordable way, because this is what often happens. We have schools that start with us and they realize how much progress they make when we're working with them. And I think that's what I'm an Energizer bunny. When it comes to this work, it's funny, I don't have endless energy in the rest of my life, but I do with this because it's a passion to me. And what happens is, while we're working with them, they see that momentum and they see that movement and progress, and they really like it. And a lot of times when they go back on their own, sometimes they're able to sustain it and sometimes they're not. It depends on a lot of things, but that's why we'll often have schools come back and they'll be like, we got a lot more done when we were working with you. So, it's like, because they just need someone that's like keeping them accountable and keeping them moving. And that's what we do. So we've got other things to allow schools to do that with us affordably after the intensive. And again, customizing, like, we know like what kind of support they're going to need in all these different phases of redesign. At some points it's more at the college level, at some points it's more at the classroom level, but we know what they need and we're still going to tweak. I know we're still going to tweak and iterate this and come up with more changes, but it's interesting seeing where just like that piece, the structural redesigns that we work on and how we do that, where that has gotten to. All right, that was super long and much longer than I expected, but you really got to see behind the scenes on one aspect. So if you come back to the next video, I'm going to do behind the scenes in terms of the other type of redesign that we work on, which is classroom redesign. I'll see you then.